All right, guys, it's getting kind of cold up here in Alaska now. We're going to process some of our firewood, and we're going to show you what that process is. We're going to have to process out most of this pile over here that you see, and then we're going to have to fetch some more. So we're looking for about 8 cord. Stay safe. We heat primarily with wood. We have a backup propane just in case. And sometimes the wood isn't enough. It gets really, really cold up here. We're talking about 30, 40, 50 below. Last year we was putting a door in. It was so cold it snapped the plastic on the tools. We was looking at about, I don't know, 35, 40 below zero. Too cold to take your gloves off and too cold to work. So this year we're trying to stay ahead of the game. We got a couple of cord up, but it ain't enough. More than enough is what we're looking for. More than enough. Stay safe. It's deadly cold up here. So today we're going to take you for the ride on how we do this. We have a small wood stove because we only have 400 square feet. So the door on that, the opening to the door on that is smaller than most wood burners. So we have to reprocess the wood down that we bought. And when you buy firewood, the first year we bought firewood, it was green and it didn't do us any good. So if you go back in our catalog, you see Corey going out there to save the day and fetch some of that wood in other than desirable conditions. Today you're going to watch us process our own firewood so we can stay alive and prosper this winter. Thank you all for watching. Chainsaws don't like to run in the cold weather. To all the viewers out there, I'd like to bring up the point. Maybe some people do know, some people don't know. Somebody who's gone through this probably would know this. But last year we had to keep the chainsaw inside beside the fire just so it would run. They don't work right in the negatives, and they won't run. So you can't cut no firewood unless you do that. And that can cause many a man to have some serious problems when your chainsaw won't run. You can come out here with 5 chainsaws, you leave them outside in the cold weather, they ain't gonna run. Now it ain't even that cold. It's only been 29 degrees last night. Only 29 degrees. That ain't that bad. That ain't that bad at all. It's going to be negative 29 here in a couple of weeks, and that chainsaw definitely won't run then. As you see, that chainsaw runs fine, and you'll see a little later on today, once it warms up, it will run fine. I don't know if the people understand, it's deadly. goes out for too long, it's just so hard to restart the fire.
Well, I mean, not even just that, man. I mean, even take it back even farther than that. If you can't keep the saw running, you're gonna be in a world of hurt whether you got a way to burn the wood or not.
Propane itself might not do it. I mean, people up here use big wood boilers. We don't live in that. We don't have that option right now.
No. Hopefully one day. Yeah, when you said we had to keep the chainsaw beside the fire last year, that's no joke. I mean, really, literally beside the wood stove in our way pretty much all winter, just to keep it warm enough to be able to go cut firewood. And that's not including the fact that after a certain temperature, the bar oil, it won't pour. I had to set a jug of bar oil in front of the fire for like 35 or 40 minutes just to get it to thaw enough so I could fill up a quart jug with it. It wouldn't pour.
And this is all seasons here. This here is all seasons. And anti-wear additive extended life. This is it's not supposed to freeze.
It says it'll pour at -9.
It says that. It don't work. There it is right there. It says it pours a chain in all temperature conditions will pour at temperatures as low as -9, -23 Celsius. High tack, high viscosity formula reduces oil flinging. And right now, I'll bet you it's about 35, 36 degrees and it's thick as hell. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. But, man, look, there's no way out once it gets that cold for that long. Your car isn't going to run. It isn't going to start unless you have a block heater. We don't even have electricity. We live off grid. There's no way for us to plug into anything like that powerful for that long. The chainsaw won't run. And if the fire goes out, our drinking water freezes, our food freezes, and then we're next. Before you move up here, that's something to think about.
I'm not saying that it's impossible or
Plenty of people do it.
undoable, but you just gotta.
You gotta think.
Yeah, I mean, really, you gotta be prepared for anything this place can throw at you. And you gotta be willing to do whatever it takes in order to get yourself straight.
I mean, there's days where we get, in a 24-hour period, we might get snow 4 feet. 4 feet of snow is as deep as a 4-foot pole. You got to shovel your way out of there. And maybe the high that day is like -7. That's like for 2 hours of sunlight you might get if the clouds go away. So there ain't enough time to evacuate. When you in it, you in it. And you better have a plan. If we're still here. We made it, so it can be done. A lot of other people have. Some people leave for the summer. Winter, come back later.
Come on now. Gasoline. Yeah, guys, even having said, you really got to be willing to do whatever it takes in order to make it. There's still a lot of modern conveniences like that chainsaw. There was a point in time where people didn't have no chainsaw. They went out there and got it by hand. They was cutting them down with axes or double man saws. Man, it could be a whole lot worse. I'm thankful for what we have. It's real nice to be able to put some gas in this chainsaw and have it do all the work for you.
Generally, I've never seen it get cold enough to freeze gas. Propane's a different story. They don't pump it after it's, well, that's another story. Is you think you got propane as a backup? Yeah, they stop pumping that about, what is it, 5, 10 below?
Yeah, -10, they won't pump it anymore.
-10, their pumps will burn because there's no viscosity left in the oil. It'll burn their pump and they'll be shut down. They got to wait till the sun comes out. So if it stays below -10 for days and your tanks are empty, all you got is this. Chainsaw?
Yeah.
There's no snakes in Alaska.
Thank God.
Oh yeah. Just back home in North Carolina.
Yeah.
It'd be full of rattlesnakes for sure.
Be all up in some snakes.
Not my favorite thing to deal with. Most of this is birch, hardwood, some of it's cottonwood. A lot of it's spruce. Spruce burns hot and fast.
Yeah, guys, this birch wood is absolutely no joke. I mean, like really no joke. It is some of the heaviest wood that I've ever dealt with, ever.
Fence.
Yeah. Yeah, another problem that we ran into is we had really high moisture content
Condensation.
in there last year, and it just completely stopped any lighter, any kind of flame striking device.
Oh yeah.
No good. You ain't gonna light no fire, so don't let it go out, because you might be without one for a good minute.
Do you remember listening to the ice freeze on the roof?
Yeah.
We were sitting in there literally listening to the condensation form ice. There was layers of ice on the outside of this shipping container that we live inside of. That was an inch thick. I had to beat it off with a hammer because it started to cause the icebox effect. I mean, we're doing better this year. It got so cold that we had to do snow by hand. We had to. There was no other choice.
Oh yeah.
The ATVs won't start.
Yeah.
They won't run.
That.
You know, I mean, the Polaris is a newer model. It has auxiliary. It has heated grips and heated throttle cable. But I had problems with the Arctic Cat because it's a 99. It had to plow on it. It did not have a heated throttle cable. My throttle cable was frozen solid. Frozen solid. And even when it did crank, I couldn't do nothing. I mean, I couldn't do nothing at all. I had to come outside, take it apart, and heat with a torch if it wasn't too cold for the torch to work. These are all things to consider before you move up here permanently. Permanently, I mean, live a winter through this. This isn't even, we ain't even all the way far north yet. if there's a couple of different ways if you wanted to move, you know, from other geographical areas to here, and you were looking to make that move to come up here to be a little bit more independent. You could be nomadic. There are year-round camping. You could go into a slip. You could heat with LP, but again, review the earlier part of this video. It's going to be a problem with the LP. It's going to get so cold they ain't going to pump it and you're going to be in a panic. So it's going to get too cold to do that. If you moved up here and you rent and you did have the option of being able to heat with wood because of the cost of living being so high and you didn't have no trees to cut down, the state of Alaska does offer a permit program to go out and cut firewood. You would have to get here a little earlier than the snowfall to be able to do that, but if anybody rents and they do have a wood burner in there and they're not using it and they're trying to cut down on the cost of that, you can get into your local municipality and you can buy a wood processing permit fairly cheap. And you buy it by the cord. I don't know what the cost is. You have to go online and look it up. We did it. But you would have to have a snow machine to be able to get in there when we had it. It was all flooded out and everything else. We had ATVs without snow tires and stuff like that. It was problematic, so we just processed it on our own property, and we have plenty of falling beetle kill up here that is standing dead ready to burn.